That's RV. Right, we're going to talk about today stage 2 RV training. Stage 2 RV training that's to replicate that stage of the dive where you have no air in your mouth left, your cheeks have collapsed, and you're at RV in the chest, so you can't bring up more air. One of our rules, absolute rules, is that nobody underwater tries to bring up air. That's where you're going to get lung squeeze. Don't even think about it. Refilling, topping up, forget it. Learn to carry a mouthfill in stage 1 for a very long time and to great depths. And then secondly, in stage 2, we're going to learn what to do. Can I go on after that safely? Yes, I can if I learn a technique of equalization that does not involve a kind of effort that will give me lung squeeze. So we're going to talk about that because stage 2 is all about deep water equalization. Now I want to introduce this equalization by saying that the first part of it that we learn is what the French call BTV, hands-free equalization. There's been an awful lot of chit-chat on the internet of how I learn this. Oh, I do this with the glottis, and I do that, and I do the other, and I do this with the tongue, and no. We don't go down that road at all, because then people get very disappointed and they say, oh, well, only some people, born naturals, can learn it. This is completely untrue. Every one of you have been doing it. Every single one of you have been doing it. It's only a question of consciously getting in touch with what is happening unconsciously at the moment. When you go up in an aeroplane, your ears pop. Do you tell them when to pop? Do you tell them how to pop your ears? Unless you're sick and have got some cold or something, you don't. What about a kid? Well, you cannot, he's too young to have equalization explained to him. Do his ears pop? Of course they do. Going up a steep hill in a car, same thing, change level. We have a road that goes from the Dead Sea right up to way above sea level. I've forgotten how many meters it is, it doesn't matter. It's one that we have going up from Eilat when you're going uphill to Beersheba. This particular hill going up from the Dead Sea is so steep that if somebody has come from scuba diving or multiple dives, you're risking decompression sickness. You've got the same story going on between Sharm el-Sheikh in the Sinai and Dahab. There's a very steep hill there, and it used to be called decompression heights, because a lot of people who've been diving deep in Sharm and maybe multiple dives managed to get decompression going up the hill. Your ears pop, guys. They pop without you thinking about it. Unconscious equalization. Now, I had the honor of training a superb athlete from China called Aolin Wang, who's now done in training 118 meters. He told me that he'd christened this technique that I've developed unconscious equalization. It begins with that, and how do we best get in touch with this? Well, it begins with a yawn. But you may do a yawn with your mouth open in real life, but if you learn to shut your lips and yawn, and think about what's happening, just examine your sensations. There's a whole routine of teaching this, and in the water as well. And Everybody seems to get it eventually. Some it takes more dives, some it takes more time out of the water. But if you persist with it, if you want this technique, boy does it work. Look, I'm, believe it or not 20 years old anymore. And I'm still getting to 18, 19 meters, no air in the mouth, no air in the chest. It's not bragging, it's just saying that if an old croc who is badly damaged can do that, anybody can. I'm not genetically gifted in any particular way. There we go. It's a very, very useful technique because it's very comfortable, and it means that when we transition from stage one, where we're using our cheeks to push air into eustachian tubes which we have opened, it's a very easy transition from going from that into stage two techniques. Now, one of the things that a lot of people are banging on about, and I'm going to have a bit of a rant here for a second. I visit sometimes a group on Facebook called Freediving in Science. Here, every now and again, you get some genius asking, is there any scientific evidence for this? Come on, guys. There's very little scientific evidence whatsoever in freediving because any real research costs money. It takes time. It costs a lot of money. What is a person who undertakes that research going to get back from it? What are the rewards at the end of the thing? Are you going to devise a new medicine for big pharma out of it or something? No, you're not. You're not likely to make a huge amount of money out of it. So the amount of research that freediving has attracted and will attract is marginal. I'm not belittling what has been done. Mrs. Schollender, from the beginning, who wrote The Master Switch of Life, which was all about the mammalian dive reflex. We have with Dr. Carl Schaefer, blood shift. Later on, we have people, the lung at depth with Klaus Lundgren. We have quite a lot of research done much later on by Erika Chagatai and Peter Lindholm. And more than that, we have a few that are trotting around today on the margins. I'm not going to get into that. Basically, we've got people, sorry, I mustn't forget the French. I always forget the French. I have no idea why. We have Professor Coriol, who wrote La physiologie de la plongée en apnée. It's a very good work in itself, but somewhat dry. Okay, that's what we've got, guys. Don't look for scientific thing. Maybe that page was misnamed. We're trying a more serious explanation by trainers and elite athletes into what the accumulated experience has taught us about things. we're still mistaking things like cage and decompression sickness. Doesn't matter. It's a learning process. And the page has value. I'm not denigrating page. Ioannis, you're a friend, and that would be the last thing I'd do. I think it has great value, but don't overestimate, is there scientific evidence for anything? There ain't. But it's to the best of our knowledge. Let's call it that way. Now, another thing that we try and deal without in our neck of the woods is I hate tables. I'm allergic to them. I think we were some of the first people who actually published tables. O2 tables, CO2 tables. My feeling is that they're worthless, particularly for elite athletes. I don't like CO2 tables because there's a danger of bringing a person to early contractions. O2 tables, I will agree with Florian Dagorin, who also was one of my remote coaching students, that the only real O2 tables are when you're doing it on empty lungs, because you begin with very little air. You begin with very little air at all. To have O2 tables that are gradually creeping up to where your last breath hold is your greatest is nonsense. It's like trying to do a maximum or close to a maximum or 90%, where you've got God knows how many warm-ups, 7 warm-ups coming before it. That's not training, guys. It's not sufficient stimulation. It's not sufficient stimulation to produce the desired results. I also disagree with the commonly accepted knowledge that, particularly when we're confined, as we are at the moment, that the best thing that we can use that will carry from dry training into deep training is full lung static. To me, it's close to being worthless. If you want to do RV static or RV breath walks, yes, in my experience, that does very much carry over. Full lung statics, no. If you don't believe me, take a look at a lot of the very deepest divers that have been historically. Some of them have had good statics because simply they wanted to take part in static competitions. But there have been an awful lot of people who'd had totally unremarkable statics. Tanya Streeter and I used to joke about this one. Yeah? We had a little rivalry because neither of us could stand full lung static. We had a little rivalry of who was the worst, I think. Tanya had a marvelous sense of humor, and she was also one of the most superb athletes that have turned up in my lifetime. I'm no disrespect there to Natalia Molchanova and people like that. But I just had more contact with Tanya. I'm going to talk about safety in RV training. I realize that I didn't put it in the stage 1, but here we go. It's applicable to stage 1 and stage 2. I kind of thought that as this was being taught to people who are not beginners and maybe not even intermediate divers, but it was basically for the deeper divers that we're talking about RV training. Certainly, in my book, you don't really need it before you get beyond 60 meters. Here we go. You can begin it before then, yes, begin it, I don't know, somewhere 50, 55 meters, maybe the time to think about beginning RV training. But, and we got to think about safety. The first thing is, at first, I would not, unless you're doing it in very cold water, in very thick suits, I would consider doing your first attempts at RV training without any weights on the body. It may, because you're going down empty, your speed of descent is going to be faster from the word go. At least it should be a consideration of reducing or eliminating weights, depending on the thickness of the suit, the water temperature, blah, blah, blah. But that's a consideration that has to be taken into account. Always do it head down when you're going down and head up when you're coming up. Well, that's obvious. Yeah? You do not want to go down feet first. Under any circumstances, there's no benefit to it whatsoever. That's not, if you're finding difficulty equalizing, oh, well, I'm going to try and make it easier by going down head up, you're wrecking the whole purpose of the training. Forget it. That's not an option. And it may also be dangerous. Now, have one hand on the line all the time. We're going down using our hands only. We're not using our legs. We're not trying to do it on a different discipline like we're going to go down no fins RV. This is pull down and pull up. We're not trying to train free immersion here. We're trying to train the things that we specifically talked about, which are applicable to all the disciplines. But we're removing them out of a specific context into a general context. Another one of the things that's very important with RV training is you don't mix it with other training guides. One of the main things that we said at the beginning is you're trying to train a reflex, blood shift. There is no way you're going to do it if you do an RV dive and your partner is doing a deep dive and you then do safety for him to 20 or 30 meters. Then simply you're not going to be training anything. This has to be dedicated time to RV training. You can pay it back to a partner in many different ways, and as you get further down the road, and that's to say when you're in stage one, when you're approaching the depths at which you do only one repetition, you're free after that to be able to do safety for your partner. So as you're growing gradually up the ladder, this will kind of loosen its grip. But when you're training it, particularly until you've got up to when you're only doing a couple of repetitions, do not mix it with full lung training of any kind whatsoever, because you'll be undoing everything that you're trying to do. Now, another one of the things is that we do not do hangs at depth with RV. They don't have benefit. They're not in that context at all, and I do not recommend them. Well, those are the main safety rules. That's it. I hope you enjoy it. So thank you all for listening from freedivers here in Eilat, and good health to everybody.